had an idea to do an interview with you just because I haven't really seen something thorough about all the things that you've done. And people are always saying things about you, but it's good to hear it directly from you, right? Your story, your experience, your thoughts. And I thought, hey, why not me? I went to school for this, right? And I was like, hey, let's do it. So thank you. So I would like to ask you a few questions, maybe ask some things that I think that people would want to know. Because you're a very interesting guy, I have to say. You know, I'm not trying to just beat your head, but you are. So maybe by doing this, people can also know you a little better, right? So starting, tell us like when you started playing handball.
I started playing handball when I was 16 years old.
Where?
Lower East Side, Manhattan.
A particular park?
Thompson Square Park.
Oh, interesting. And because you lived by that park, or did you like that park?
I lived by that park. I used to walk my dog around the area.
Oh, you had a dog. Okay, so were there good players there?
I thought there were good players there.
Okay.
So
anybody we know?
No one we know. So everyone has a park where someone's better than them or just about the same, so they believe that they're good until you see professional level. So that's what I thought. I thought everybody in the park was pretty good. Until I started beating them or going to other places that I know the difference.
And what was your first experience knowing the difference?
Well, I used to play basketball before handball, so I used to go to West Fourth, and I used to see handball players there. But being that I was, pretty decent in my park, I felt like I was on their level. So I was like, oh, these guys are like mine, like my park. I could beat them, they could beat me, whatever. I'm that good. So I was playing ball, and then one day I injured myself, my ankle, and I said, oh, let me go rough this old man up in singles. Let me just beat him. And he beat me really bad, and I was like, how good could I be if an old man just beat me? But then I said, I had a messed up ankle, that's why he won. I'm gonna come back next week and I'm gonna rough this old man up. I gotta teach him a lesson for winning against me. So I came back a week later when my ankle was better, and I played him and he left me on a lower score. I was like, what is going on? How good could I possibly be if a 60-year-old man is beating me? So I was like, I must be horrible. He was an old school guy from West Fourth. His name was Popeye. Very fundamental player. Actually, part of his game is, in my game, we're talking about the fundamentals of the game.
Oh, interesting. So from this guy...
I learned the fundamentals of the game. Pretty much, not to hit the ball to your opponent. Because before him, we used to just hit it back and forth to each other until one of us missed. There was no real strategy.
Right. So that's what you did in your park?
Yeah, until someone missed it, and it was like, I'm better than you, or whatever. But we would fluctuate because we were erratic.
So besides this old guy, are there good players there?
At West Fourth, they were the best of the best was at West Fourth, but I never met them.
At that time?
At that time, the best of the best were there.
Which is like who?
Well, you had...
For your time, yeah.
You had...
And when is this, 80s, 90s?
This is the mid-80s, closing in on the 90s.
Okay.
You had Angel Marquez, Freddie Lynch, Buddy, Eddie, Emmett. You had so many different players. Eddie Marican, Wilson. You had a lot of old school players.
So when you were there, Emmett was already good?
Emmett was one of the top guys, yes.
Oh, interesting. So when you got beat by Popeye, who was the top guy?
When I got beat by Popeye...
no, who was the top? Yeah, who was the top?
The top guy when I got beat, I found out a little later, was between the guy who helped, pioneer my game, Angel Marquez, and who was a top player, and Buddy and Emmett. They were all around, teeter-tottering around who's the best of the best at that time. They were all really good players, top players.
So interesting, because isn't that, if Emmett was a top player, aren't those guys much older?
They're a little bit older than Emmett, but not too far where they're not in the range to compete with him.
Interesting. So you're there now, and you thought you were good, and then you got a 60-year-old guy beating you, and so you were open a little bit. So you started going there?
I started playing more there because I wanted to beat the old man. Now, I had to prove to him that I could beat him because he was better than me. So in order to get better, you have to play people that are better than you.
Of course, right.
Because they bring your game level up.
Right. Okay, so you started playing there, and did you do things to, besides just playing? Or at that time, is that all that you did? Meaning, like, so now you want to be a better player.
So
what are you doing to be a better player?
To be a better player, I practice a little more, but mostly I played a lot of games.
Okay.
When you play a lot of games against competition, you get better.
Okay.
So it's not so much playing a lot of games. When you play a lot of games against competition, you get better, depending on the level of competition.
Okay. So you did a little bit of practicing, but mostly playing better competition.
Playing better competition is like practicing because you could only go up to their level. You can't go down. You're either going to beat them or compete, or you're going to lose to them.
So interesting. So let's say if somebody, your recommendation, if somebody wanted to be a better player, you know, so you're saying what you did is you played a lot of games.
Right. But
what would you say?
To recommend someone to be a better player, first of all, I would recommend them to learn the rules and get their fundamentals down. Once you learn the rules of a game, you will be able to master the game. You have to get your fundamentals. Your fundamentals are pretty much where to place the ball and how to hit the ball. So that's a difficult question to ask because not everyone learns at the same rate.
Just you.
How long did it take me?
Meaning, like, so now you're going to West 4th.
Right.
Now, is your game improving significantly? Is it a while before you, like, are you playing in tournaments now?
No, I wasn't playing in tournaments yet, but my game was improving significantly because my strategy was to play everybody.
Okay.
So if you play everyone, you're eventually going to get better because you're expanding your competition.
Okay, so who were you, I mean, were they trying to play you? Because you know how it is if it's a top guy and then there's this guy that wants your attention, wants your time.
You're always going to get a game. The question is the quality of the game. And sometimes you do get a shot to play a better player. You're always going to play competition better than you. It doesn't matter. You're going to find someone to play competition.
So do they give you the time?
You do get the time.
Like did Emmett play you? Did Angel Marquez, you like these people that you mentioned?
Yes, they play you, but it's not really a good game because they're stronger than you. So they pretty much beat you really fast and you're just like, wow, what happened? You know. And that's pretty much what happens. You're like, oh, I thought I was ready, but you really weren't ready. But you did learn something.
Okay, so you said that Angel Marquez helped you in the game.
Angel Marquez was the start, but there were multiple A players. I learned from a lot of A players. I would study the A players and then I would, play against them or watch them in tournaments and learn what they had.
Okay, so for you at that time, who are you most impressed with? When you're starting, like now you're not the top guy, but you're looking at everybody's game. Who was your like wow?
So I was like everyone else. Your wow was who's ever the number one player is at the time. And at that time it was Angel Marquez. So everyone was like, oh, this guy's the guy. So whoever the guy is at that time that everyone's talking about, that's who you're looking up to because you're like, he's winning everything. He was there. And then you start to see other A players as well.
And what did you like about his game?
Well,
besides him winning.
Well, everyone likes to see someone win, obviously.
Right.
But he was aggressive and he had two good hands. They were even keeled, meaning he could kill with his left or right. It didn't matter. He operated both his hands like they was his natural hands. My first tournament.
Guys.
So my first tournament was a B singles.
Okay.
And I was the best B player out there, but I got nervous because I never played in a tournament before, and I did horrible.
And who'd you play against?
I played against Israel Amador, who we all know as Cricket,
Oh.
and he actually beat me really bad, 21-4.
Ooh.
I was a stronger singles player than him, but in the tournament I got nervous and he played well and it was over for me. I got crushed.
Okay.
I couldn't get rid of the butterflies.
And where was this at, this tournament?
This was in Brooklyn. I think it was either 49 or Park, I think it was.
Okay. And so you kind of got under 10. So what about from there?
From there, I had a point where I said, how did that happen? I couldn't understand why it happened if I was better than him. But then I understood the tournament pressure. It's different. It's a whole nother level. So from then on, I decided not to crack under pressure ever again in that manner.
And how do you do that?
It's pretty much a mental thing.
What do you tell, but how?
So the reason people miss is because usually put too much pressure on themselves to make a shot. I didn't put that much pressure on myself to make the shot.
Okay. Interesting. So you just lightened up on yourself, like on your inner dialogue, like, okay, we got this, or I got this.
Well, if you could make a shot at 1 zip and be confident about it, it's the same shot at 18 or a point game. It's the pressure of missing that forces you to miss.
Okay, so how long, let's say from your first tournament to you winning a tournament, like how many like L's, like was it significant? Did you play in a lot of tournaments until you actually won?
So,
was tournaments a big thing for you then?
Tournaments weren't really a big thing for me. I just wanted to beat certain players, so that was my big thing. But I used to take a lot of losses from a lot of players.
Okay.
Everybody used to come to me and, they used to beat me a lot. I used to get beat a lot, all the time.
And are these money games or they're just games?
Free games, money games, you name it. I lost a lot.
Interesting.
I got ripped.
So, like now, if you want to play a top player, usually it's for money. Was it like that then?
Pretty much. It was like that then, but not all the time that all the top players play for money. If they think you have a good game and they like you, they'll play you. You'll get games. They'll play against you because they always need to work out as well. They need to train as well. So you're going to find a player that will play against you with or without money. Not all the time it's for money.
Okay. So when did you win your first tournament?
I can't even remember when I won my first tournament. It's been that far. I really can't. I mean...
So you would think that would be sweet.
No.
Like, was it singles or doubles?
It was definitely singles because I was a singles player before a doubles player.
Okay.
So I became the most dominant singles player out there, but I've won so many singles tournaments. It's just I lost track.
You don't remember your first?
I think my first singles tournament, yes, was peak when we go about it. It was a pyramid tournament.
Okay.
It was the peak tournament where to see who was on top. Those were when Dave Andre used to run the singles tournaments. Okay. That was my first tournament where you could challenge anyone after you won. You could challenge anyone's spot.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
So did you like that tournament?
I love that tournament.
No, meaning like that, the way it ranked, like the...
I loved it, yeah.
Yeah?
Because now you didn't just win and sit on your win. You had to prove that this is why I deserve this spot. So if someone beat you, they got your spot in that tournament.
Do you think they should bring that back?
I don't think they should bring that back.
But you enjoyed it?
It was okay if you like competition. The reason why I say I don't think they should bring that back is because someone could play one good game against you, get your spot, and not play in the tournament. So that spot got wasted, you understand?
Right.
So, just enter the tournament.
Who did you beat?
I probably beat Emmett in the finals.
See, how do you not remember that? The first win, and he's one of the top guys.
Right.
Right? To me, I remember everybody I beat. No. That's really the worst.
He was an amazing athlete.
Oh, yeah. I
and
remember.
A great player.
I remember. So after that, you win your first tournament. Now, are you like open? You want to play all the tournaments? Like.
So after you win your first tournament, your confidence is there. Mm-hmm. After you win, if you won once, why can't you win twice and again and again? So after you win a tournament, your confidence level goes up and you actually play better.
So let's say, when did you Or how did you become the top player? What was like the moment where like Rookie is the man, he's the best?
Well, when there was multiple tournaments, I was winning the majority of the tournaments. We're talking singles because that's what I pretty much specialized in. And then I started taking out the other top players. At that point, when you dominate the top players, you become the number one player.
Okay. So, but what, sometimes it's like solidified. Was there like a person or, like, okay, you beat this person twice or you beat this person, now you're the man?
So, I would crush everyone. So when you crush everyone,
that's it.
That's it. There's no arguments. There's no arguments because everyone got crushed equally.
Okay.
It was an equal thing,
And at this time, are you just still at West 4th? Now West 4th is your park?
West 4th was my park because that's where I learned most of my game from the top 8 players, and then I started traveling around.
So you were crushing everybody, but was there anybody that you were worried about?
So when you're at the top of your game, you're kind of stuck in your own cocky mode about yourself. So you're not really worried about nobody. You're like, your ego takes over. Like, I ain't worried about nobody.
Okay, good.
The only time you're worried about somebody is after you take that loss. You're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was supposed to happen. So that's when you're worried. But to be honest, in all fairness, all the A players were a threat. That's why they became A players.
Okay.
So I was confident I could beat them. But you're always worried about the A players because they're professionals like you, because they have a skill set like you.
So let me ask you this. So you said you were feeling confident, you feel like nobody can beat you. So when did you get your first like little reality check or like humbled a little bit where somebody got you? Were you expected to beat them and then they got you?
So again, in the game, that happens all the time.
No, but one kind of...
No.
No? Nothing sticks out?
Nothing sticks out. You know that you can't win forever, but you feel like I'm dominant and I should win all the time. So you never know when that one loss comes until it comes. And then you're like, oh, that person just rocked me. It can happen at any time. It doesn't even have to be an A player. A B player could beat you as well. It depends on how good that player is playing at that day. Or you're having a bad day and someone's having a great day. Or they're having a great day and it's better than yours. Anyone could lose at any time.
Okay, so let's say of these tournaments that you've played, does any of them, like your win, like you loved, like it was a great win, like something that was just like, wow, like it was better than the others?
When you win this King of the Courts more than once, that feels great because now you know that you have what it takes to be the number one player in the game over and over. So that felt great. And then there was other top tournaments against other top players, and then later on, I guess, for me, I can't speak for everyone else, the monetary value was there. So I came in at the right place. With all due fairness, I was the youngest kid, where the older players were a little older. I was younger. I was right in that sweet spot zone where I could dominate because of my physical prowess and the fact that I learned from them. So I was there to reap all the rewards, both in the game and financially.
Ah, okay. And, well, how about these two? So you see a lot of people, they have like all these trophy collections and things like that. And you don't. But you have these two here. Like, why did you keep these? Oh, you know what? They're kind of badass though.
All right.
And this one is taller than you.
Right. So you only see these two trophies, but I've been winning tournaments for 30 years.
Wow.
And not even I got enough trophies to open up a trophy store. It's just too many. So I give them out to my friends. I give them out to certain players who I think are going to be in the future better players or they're going to be top players. So I give it to them and say, this is for you. And I gave a lot of people trophies that I really respect their game and they got a lot to offer to the game.
Okay. How about this? Doubles. So obviously everyone would want to play with you. How do you choose a partner? Or why would you, because you, again, you don't really have to pick anybody. Everybody's asking you. Right?
So
I'm talking about, you're the man. So what does it come down to when you needed a partner in doubles?
So when it comes down to doubles, there's a lot of good players out there, and they probably all could get the same results, but you need chemistry when you play with your partner. You need someone who believes in you just as much as you believe in them. You need teamwork in doubles. And without teamwork, the dynamics of the team suffers. And then you guys could get into ego clash, miscommunication, and miscommunication in doubles is devastating.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, if I'm a righty and I'm supposed to take the middle because I'm a righty and the power side is on the left, but I'm playing with a lefty, we're going to get into confusion unless he knows I'm supposed to get the middle. Or I agree that he gets the middle.
Okay.
Or if two righties are playing, the guy in the right might want to stick his left in. You got to have a communication there.
Okay.
It's about positioning, lobbying.
What about positioning?
Positioning is probably one of the most fundamental important things in the game. Like me and Lefty. Of doubles. Like me and Lefty Henry, what I learned and me and him learned from old school. We always stood in front of our opponents and we always made shots harder for our opponents to get because we lobbed you, we got into position. Most of the times when we made our shots, we were in the right position. Whether we won or not was irrelevant. We set up in the right position. That's why we were so dominant, and we both had good opposites. He was a smart player.
And what else is, we would say, important in doubles?
So, again, in doubles, you have to have a game plan with your partner. Otherwise, you're going to lose. You have to have teamwork. It doesn't matter how good one person is. You're only as good as you can enforce your partner. So if you don't have the teamwork, it's going to be problems.
Okay. And what about singles?
Singles is pretty much, it says it for itself. It's mano y mano. It's you against that person. You have nobody to blame but yourself. So you could play your best game, and if you lose, it's because you got outplayed, and it's because you made faults. There's no one else to blame. It's all you. But
what would you say, let's say, if you wanted to coach somebody on playing singles, what would you say are the fundamentals of singles?
Okay, so in my opinion, in order to be a good singles player, you need to have leg work. If you don't have good leg work, you're not going to be a good singles player. That's first off. Second, you have to have a serve, good court sense, and you have to have the ability to make shots on the run.
Okay. And is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, there's no game that sticks out for singles that you won that you were just like, yeah, I got that. You know, like, this is great. Like, was somebody like you really wanted to beat, or was it Emmett? You know, like that win. Like, what was your...
So at the time, the one guy that I really wanted to beat was Emmett, but that was because Emmett was the top player at the time.
Right.
So it could have been Emmett, it could have been Angel, it could have been Buddy, it could have been Joe Durso. Whoever was the top guy at that time is who I wanted to beat or emulate at the time or be amongst the top players.
So I remember there was a time where there were this Florida guy came, this Cuban guy, and he started throwing big money tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved you. Like, how did that come about? Like, how did he even...
So we had a financial backer for our game, and it turned out that he had a lot of money. So he really liked our play, and he loved the game. He really loved the game. So he wanted to see us play at our highest intensity and our highest level. So he felt like he could help by putting a lot of money into the game. And the intensity of the game did grow.
And people were flying out to Florida, right?
We were flying out to Florida. He was flying us out to Florida. He was putting a considerable amount of money, a couple of thousand each tournament, and it was great.
Now, do you feel like those were the best tournaments because the money was high, or you just liked it because the money was high?
So,
I know it's Florida, it's hot, it's different.
So Florida's hot. It's a great place to be in. It's a vacation spot. So the whole ambiance of everything was great because the money was there. The tournaments could have been run a little tighter, but this is the guy that's back in the tournament. So whatever he says goes. So the money did make a difference, and it brought the intensity to the game. And you got to see a lot of talented players play under that kind of pressure. And it was a great thing.
Okay. And how about, so I remember when you were telling me that a guy from Red Bull was looking for you and found you in Coney Island. Can you tell that story?
So I was at a hardball tournament, the Nationals, and a scout was looking for me for Red Bull. And he wanted to look into the game of handball. So a lot of people were talking about me and he wanted to meet me. We had an interview, and from then on, he wanted to use my name to sponsor tournaments under the banner of Red Bull. So it was advertising for them, and we got to display our talents. It was great.
Okay, and so he approached you and he wanted you to, like, was it your idea? He just said, what could we do? Because the original, like, did you come up with the concept? Like, explain that.
So he pretty much had us set what did he want to do. We had 3 different balls. We had a specialized ball that we played. It's a super pump ball where we blow a regular blue ball up, almost the size of a grapefruit. We had the small ball version, that the game I was playing at the Nationals, and we had our version, the big blue version. So we displayed 3 games, 3 different skill sets, and we rolled it all into one big tournament, and it turned out to be great. Right. Plus, we were paying out $15,000 in prize money, so
wow.
And the entry was free, so all you had to do was show up with your game, and that was it.
Wow. Yeah, I remember everybody loved it. You know, they were excited about it and had the cool posters and everything. Yeah.
Well, when you have a big corporation backing you up, things run smoothly, you know.
Okay. And so how many times did you throw a tournament? A Red Bull tournament?
I think we threw them, I don't know how many it is up to date, but it was going on for like a year or 2. And
so you did 2, 3?
Maybe there was maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
There were a lot of tournaments, and they were nice.
Yeah, I remember everybody was happy with them. And so what happened with you not doing it anymore?
So what happened with me not doing it anymore is my boss transferred to another corporation besides Red Bull. He worked for another company, and after he left, that was the end of it.
So something you mentioned earlier, the fundamentals. You said if somebody wants to be better, like one of the first things you said is the rules. So when I used to play way back, you know, I wasn't on the level of you, and I definitely didn't play in a lot of tournaments. But I remember playing in tournaments where the rules would kind of change. Like this whole big blue, small ball rules. So they were definitely different. Or sometimes when you would play, let's say in USHA, they would say that there's these USHA rules. However, they would kind of switch back and forth where they were big balls and then it would go to small ball rules. Like they would kind of be, it wasn't a consistency. And I could say that every time I played in a Nationals and again, I can honestly say like my tournament history is not vast, but that just kind of pissed me off because it's like I'm very much a rules person, and if we're not all on the same page of what the rules are, or you tell me that these are the rules and then they're not the rules, it's kind of, I don't know, you feel like it's kind of not fair. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so the United States Handball Association has the official rule book. The problem is sometimes when people throw tournaments, they run the tournament their way and they put their rules in, and this is the criteria they want to go by because it's their tournament. And they have the right to do that because it's their tournament. But there's where certain confusing things happen with the rules.
Like?
So hinders are often confused between black ball and big blue, and it kind of throws off the game a little bit. So if you don't know the rules before you start the game, there's nothing wrong with either rules. The question is, you have to know what rules are applied at which tournament, at which time, so that you're not argumentative about something that you thought you were right about.
So, do you think that there should be a set of big blue rules and a set of small ball rules, or is there just, because there's just that USHA rule book, should it just be that? Like, what is your opinion?
Well, personally, I've always played by the United States Handball Association rule book, but there's different rules that apply when it's hardball.
Than in big ball.
And then big blue. So in hardball, if the ball passes you, it's it passed you. But in big blue, if it passes you and it still hits you, you're out for it. So there's a difference for that. The reason why is because one game is a service game and one isn't. So that's why there's different rules. That's why when you create a block, you get a full, so that you don't serve out the game.
So, but do you believe there should be rules, two different set of rules, or just that one set of rules?
I believe there's pretty much one set of rules, but there should be clarification on the rules when you play.
So, but one set of rules being those small ball rules? Or just a universal set of rules. Obviously, there should be one set of rules.
There should
Meaning
be
like two different balls, two different sets of rules?
Right.
Or...
So it's two different games, two different rules.
That's where your opinion.
Right, and that's what it is. You know, we do separate it, and we did separate them before, but now they're kind of getting mixed up.
Okay. What do you think about eye gear? What's your opinion?
So in Big Blue, I feel it's not necessary, but I guess,
Why?
the person is, well, that's a personal choice. Some people, could disagree, but I feel that's my personal choice. So, but in hardball, you most definitely want to have eye guards, because if that ball hits you in the eye, it could take your eye out.
Okay.
If the big blue ball hits you in the eye, it could damage your eye, maybe scratch your cornea, but you can't lose your eye. If that hard ball goes in your eye at 30 miles an hour, it could damage your eye really bad.
So, as far as the rules, I would say again, like the time I've played was maybe about 10 years ago. The issue of rules is still happening now. Like, what do you think needs to happen?
So, the reason why there's issues with the rules is because anyone could throw a tournament now. Now, being that anyone could throw a tournament, not everyone knows the rules. Remember, all the people that are throwing the tournaments aren't all professionals. They just have a passion for the sport. So they're used to the rules from their park, from when they used to play. And sometimes some people don't know the rules, and they make up the rules. And it's not that they don't mean to do it, they think this is the right way it is, and then they find out that sometimes it doesn't work.
What do you think about buybacks?
Okay, so a buyback tournament is just what it is. It's called a buyback tournament. If you enter a buyback tournament, then you have to accept the buybacks. That's my personal opinion. Because you know ahead of time that there's buybacks, so there shouldn't be any crime if whatever team buys back in, because it's a buyback tournament.
Right. Now, do you feel like, let's say the team that lost and bought back, if they're in the finals, do they have to win twice, or do they?
Okay, so let's keep the math correct on buybacks. In a buyback tournament, the losers are never supposed to play the winners. That's first of all.
Oh.
So this is how a buyback tournament goes, because I'm old school, right? You enter the tournament. right? And before the second round, you're allowed to buy back in.
Okay.
Okay? So, or whenever you're allowed to buy back, it doesn't matter. It's a buyback tournament. So the minute you lose, everyone's allowed one buybacks, right? So once you lose, you go into the losers round. And then all the buybacks play against each other until there's one team left. And if they make it to the finals, so be it. Then they play the winner of the person that got into the finals. Now, they have to beat that team twice because that team didn't lose yet.
So they say, and of course I think that every generation says that, but I've heard a lot that this generation of players is not as good as the last generation of players. I've heard, and I think there's some very good players. I'm not really on the scene like I used to be, but I've heard that they say that they were smarter, like there was more of a thought process. And they say that the guys bang out the ball, you just hit it hard. What do you think? What's your opinion for players of your, you just say generation, but when you were playing, when you were top and now?
Okay, so every game evolves. So what the players are doing now is what they're utilizing their strategy to win. So that's okay. They bang the ball, they're fast, they're aggressive. They're pretty much glory hounds. They want to spike the ball, kill it, roll it, and really embarrass their opponent. We wanted to do the same back then, but our fundamentals were a little stronger than they are now. The reason why, I think, is back in the days we played against each other more than the younger players play against each other today.
Okay.
So we were sharper because we played against each other more. We had more players to play against, more top players.
How would you describe your game? Like if somebody was to ask, like, what's your style or what's your strategy? Like, what is your game?
Well, my game plan in singles or doubles, we're talking about.
How about singles?
All right, in singles.
No, like who are you? Like you say, like I'm a master at fundamentals, or my game is all about my serve. Like how would you describe your game as far as singles?
So it's hard to really describe my game because my game came from so many different A players. So I'm kind of chameleon in that part. So I have Emmett's down the line left, Joe Durso's cross court, Angel Marquez is off the wall. So you see players that you like and their skill set, and you could use it as well.
Right.
And you could use it in your arsenal. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, make it your own.
Right, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Like you got players out there that have my spike shot, and they're awesome at it. They do it better than me now. And you got the players that got Gio's whip, left cross court. They got Davo's shots. A lot of the players use a lot of other players' shots, and it's okay. It's a matter of when to use it and how to utilize it.
But what do you think your thing is? The spike? Like, what is your thing?
Well, my thing was the spike. I used to get close to the wall and then spike somebody into the next atmosphere. I got a lot of power. People used to say, all you do is hit the ball hard. I did hit the ball hard. I was really good at passing shots. And then I would kill the ball off the wall.
Okay.
And at one point, I was really fast.
Right, for a tall guy.
I was fast.
I've known you for a long time. I didn't even know this game existed, that you played this game. I only kind of heard it afterwards, like after I stopped playing, which was the you versus Justin video. Like, that game is incredible. I mean, honestly. So I just want to know, did you think, well, tell me your thoughts on that game. Did you think you were going to lose?
So...
Because he opened up on you.
Right. The score was 23-9.
20, was it?
The score was 23-9, and he just came onto the handball scene like a phenomenon. He was destroying A players left and right. And he pretty much made his debut in the Ballers tournament. Like, he crushed all the A players. Like,
so he was a B?
Yeah, we didn't even know who this guy was. We were like, who is this guy?
Wow.
And they were like, oh, Justin this, Justin that. And we were all like, yeah, we'll see if he's that good. Because this was the big boy tournament. So then he came through.
What tournament was that?
It was the Ballers.
No, wasn't that in Coney Island?
No. It was the Ballers. It was the Ballers tournament.
Okay.
It was in Brooklyn.
Which is Veronica's tournament.
Veronica's tournament, yes.
Okay.
So that's actually these trophies are here.
Woo-hoo.
So Justin was a phenomenon. He was in great shape. Like he was just fit like a gymnast.
And this is the first time are you playing against him?
This is the first time I played against him. So this is the first time he played against me. He was crushing all the A players. At first we didn't pay him no mind. He won against one A player. It was like, all right, that could happen. Sometimes all A players get upset. But he just crushed him. It was like, wow, that's kind of, all right, no big deal. Then...
Was that a final?
The game was a final, but
that was a final game, like you against him.
Me and him was the finals.
Okay.
So I'm leading up to it. He crushed all the A players up until the finals, and then he had me. So now everybody was waiting for that big showdown, me versus him, and he beat all the A players. He crushed under 10 all the other A players. Under 10. Under 10 all the other A players.
Wow.
So now it was up to me. I had my ego. I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy. But
and then
it looked like I was following suit.
Oh my God.
He started crushing me too, just like all the other A players. I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna leave me under 10 too, like all the rest of them. So
wow.
He started crushing me, beating me. His left was sharper than mine because I was really playing good that day. I crushed everybody too. I left everybody in the 10, and then we had a showdown, and he was just beating me to the punch. Whatever I did, he just did it better. Like I hit the ball low and he hit it lower. Whatever I hit, he got to. He was crushing everything. I was like, this guy doesn't miss. He's like a machine. It's almost like as if I'm playing myself. So I'm like, so this is how it feels to play against myself.
Ah.
So then it got down to a point where I said, you know what? I don't have a problem with him winning, but I want him to earn the game. So at that point, I started playing more aggressive. I started talking trash. I started getting to him mentally, physically. I brought everything to the table. And it started working. I even started having fun. I said, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to go out in style. I started hitting no looks on him. I started talking trash to him. I started goofing off, posing. Everybody was loving it. I think the whole show and the fact that I was so still goofing off while I was losing affected him. And then I started playing harder, and the fact that I could do that and still play got to him in the end.
But did you notice a shift?
Did
you think you were going to lose?
I thought I was going to lose at the start because he had such a commanding lead, but I never quit until it's over. And I said, if he's going to win, he's going to earn the game.
No, at 23-9, do you think the game was over?
No.
Really?
At 23-9...
And you're talking about then. It's like it's hard to remember, but sometimes you get...
No, I remember. So, it's not... At 23-9, it's looking gloomy. It's not looking like you're going to win. But, I'm different. I'm like, listen, until he has 25, I'm going to play. He's going to earn every point. That's what I'm trying to explain. Like old school. Even if you leave me on 6 or 9, you're going to earn every point that you make. So at that point, I decided I want to stop him, and every point from then on out, I want him to earn. And then I started playing more aggressive, making shots. The crowd got to him. I made a run, and he cracked. So a combination of him cracking and me playing well and stepping on my game and being more aggressive and just getting in his head, it got to him. And then it got so close where he got nervous, and I pulled the game out. I actually got down at point game. Then I got back up.
And what did he have?
It was 20.
Did he stay on 23?
Yeah, he stayed on 23. No, I think he got point game. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, we have to look back at it.
Yeah, we gotta look back.
That'd be crazy if he didn't score from 23 to 9.
Right.
Because sometimes you think you got it. We all, you slack up a little bit. You think you got it. Everybody's done it, and you regret it.
Right.
It's like, look, how could he possibly come back? And shit.
Yeah, that was one tremendous game.
Okay, it was. And had like 1 million views, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of views. He was, he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. I take my hat off to him. He's phenomenal.
So another game that everyone talks about is the game between you and Timbo at the King of the Courts.
Okay.
Where I believe Timbo was the favorite. Like, he's on top and he's winning everything. So, how many times have you played in the King of the Courts? Or how many times have you won the King of the Courts? How about that?
I won the King of the Court 7 times.
7 times. And so, obviously, you going into this tournament, he's on the rise, or he's on top. Because, you know what, again, I'm out of the scene. So he was the top guy at that time.
Yes, Timbo was the number 1
so
player in the game.
he's the top. And how old were you?
43.
So you're 43 and he's in his 20s. So you are definitely not in your prime. Like, did you go into this game thinking you're gonna win everything?
So when I enter a tournament, I don't go in with the idea of losing, because if you don't believe in yourself, how could you win?
Even though you're in your 40s.
That is correct.
So you're going there thinking that you're gonna win this.
Right. If you cannot win if you don't believe you can win.
Right, so yeah, right, what's the point? Okay, so tell me about this game. So you're 43, you know, which is not old, but again, you're not in your prime. You're not the top guy. Did you think, or tell me about that game. Did you think you were going to win that game? What round? Is this the finals? Or it was the finals, right?
It was the finals. So, he's the top number 1 player. He actually had a perfect year that year. He won all the singles, all the doubles. They wanted to see me compete, and I said I will compete one more time, just, you know, to show the people that, you know, I still can play. And pretty much I'm more experienced than he is. You know, he's a phenomenal player. He actually reminds me of Justin. He has great leg work, he has great hand skill, everything, but I think he was just missing one more element of his game, and it's not his fault. He just never got to play enough competition from the old school players. But to get to where he's at his level, is phenomenal.
Okay, but back to that game. You know, that game, did you know, like, how did you feel in the finals? Did you feel strong? Like, who did you beat to get to him?
So I took out Miggs, which is another phenomenal top player from the Bronx.
At that time?
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, I got through Miggs, and then it was Timbo.
Okay, and how did you feel? Did you feel strong? Did you feel like, oh man, I need some Gatorade?
Let's put it this way, I felt my age.
Oh, and also, like, it's usually really hot, right?
Yes, it's really hot.
You know, like, I wish, you know, it's like not only you have to play, but you have to play through the heat, through the elements.
Right. So that factors in a lot with the King of the Courts, because it's usually very hot. And to beat a young athlete like that, it makes it even more difficult.
Okay, so did you think that you had it? Like,
well,
honestly?
I go into every game thinking I could win the game.
But now I'm just saying, you're in the finals now, you're about to play him. Did you think you had the game? From the start?
From the start, you don't know whether you have anything or not, but if you believe you could win the game, I believe I could win the game. I went into a tournament if I didn't think I could win.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you play, and you're good at the beginning, and now it's the end. And it's like 100 degrees. So sometimes you just feel like, oh my God. I mean...
To be honest,
you felt good?
I felt good enough where I felt I was going to play my game, but you don't know if you're going to win or not.
And were you dominating that whole time? Was it back and forth in that game?
I think he started early with the lead, and then we were going back and forth, and then I slipped away.
And you slipped away.
And then I pulled it out.
So, I mean, to be honest, everyone still talks about that. Everyone. They mention you, they mention that game. You know, it doesn't even matter anything that you did after. Just say that you're such and such an age, and you beat the top guy. So it's like solidified your positioning as like the GOAT or the OG, you know, like that you still got it. So, like, and also you did an interview after that, right? That also got like 1 million views. Was that the same?
No, this was the tournament about the King of the Courts, where they were playing, and we did an interview with CBS, and this was them filming another King of the Courts.
Okay, so it wasn't that one.
Right.
But it still got over 1 million views.
Right. These were because of the young players that were playing, you know.
So, what do you think about, like, how do you feel about that win? Like, what is your...
Whenever an older athlete beats a young athlete, it's a great feeling.
Right?
You know, so I have the experience over him, but he has the youth. If he makes a mistake, I can capitalize. If I make a mistake, he's definitely going to capitalize. So, it's like a scale. It's a balance.
Okay, do you think that people thought you were going to win?
Some people believed I could win because they know my skill set, but there were a lot of doubts. And there should have been doubts because of my age. To be honest, there should be doubts, you know. They didn't think I could still, you know, crank out a win, but I pulled it out.
Okay, yeah, that was, I'm telling you, people still talk about it. It was a great game. You know, it almost, I don't know which one is, they talk about more, the Justin game or this one, but.
Well, they're going to talk about both the games.
Right, that's why I brought them up, yeah.
Because both of these players are phenomenal athletes and great players. So they know what it takes to beat them. So if you do win a game against them, they're like, how did you do it? Because they're that good.
So how did you do it?
I'm the GOAT, that's how.
Do you have a favorite shot?
Well, one of my favorite shots is my left corner shot, but that's one of my money shots. But I really do like the spike shot. That's one of my favorite shots. You know, I love the spike shot. It's funny when you put somebody outside the court and they're like going to 3 courts down to catch your ball, and you know, you like rollers, killers. You know, there's so many shots.